In this episode, we're doing a step-by-step tutorial to clothe an animated MetaHuman in Unreal Engine 5.1. We start by applying animation to our MetaHuman using Reallusion's iClone 8 and the Actor Core mocap library. Then we simulate clothing in Marvelous Designer 12. We also texture the clothing using Quixel Mixer and Blender 3. Daniel will now take you through the process.
To start off, I have a simple empty scene in Unreal Engine with my MetaHuman that has no clothes on. Our goal is to clothe her now. So the first step will be to get an animation for her body. I am going to be using iClone 8. For iClone's animations to be compatible with the MetaHumans, you just have to go to their live link page and then download the blueprint and dummy for animation trigger. Once that is downloaded, you go to your downloads and extract. Once extracted, you will have this folder with MetaHuman dummies that contain all the different male and female body types and sizes. So in Unreal Engine, just check your MetaHuman's body type and size. Female, medium, underweight body. So that is the one that I will be wanting to export. MetaHuman dummies, female, medium, underweight body. Open. And here is the dummy that you can use iClone's animation with. And for the animation, I have downloaded a dance scene from iClone's Actor Core. And once downloaded, you can simply drag and drop the animation onto the dummy, and you will be dancing. To make sure you are exporting the entire animation, you click on your motion and click this button, set start and end frame. It will mark the in and out. And then you simply export FBX, Unreal. I am going to use 30 frames per second, range, and then export. Once that's exported, I will not be using iClone anymore right now, so quit, back in Unreal Engine, import that FBX we just exported. Skeletal mesh, yes. Import mesh, no, we don't need the mesh, we just want the animation. Make sure you select MetaHuman base skeleton, export the time, and all the rest you can just leave to default. Import. This may take a while, so I will pause the video and get back to you once it's done. Right, once the animation has imported, save, double click your animation, go to the preview mesh, select your body and apply to asset. This is going to be the mesh that we're going to export to Marvelous Designer. From here you can add the shoes and the head and so on, but these additional meshes do not get exported, so we'll show you how to get those separately. For now, we will go to the sequencer, add Penelope as a blueprint in here. Then click on the MetaHuman control rig and the face control rig board. Just delete those, then go back to normal mode. So now we can add our animation. Before I do that, I'm just going to rename this to body. You can name it whatever you want, and then under body, choose track, animation, and then body animation. Here we have our lady dancing. Before I carry on to export the body, I'm going to show you how to get the MetaHuman into a T-pose for Marvelous Designer. So first, zoom into your animation here, hold Control and just scroll wheel up. Then move your animation, say about 10 frames should be fine. And then once you did that, click on the body, right click, bake to control rig, MetaHuman control rig, create. Now your MetaHuman stance is on the control board. Go to the first frame, zoom in, select everything in between the first frame and the body animation, and then on the first frame you press on the shoulder, move her arm up, keyframe, click on the other shoulder, move her arm up, keyframe, and then just for the elbows, get them straight, keyframe, other elbow, keyframe. Exit animation mode, scroll up, and then you will have your animated T-pose. Okay, from here, to have the T-pose included in your animation, because the original body still does not have it, you right click on the body, bake animation sequence, choose a file. I'll just say body T-pose. Okay, the default settings are fine. Bake, and now when you go to the body, the T-pose will be in the beginning. Okay, now we have the body, we need the head and the feet. To get the head and the feet, simply go to your T-pose body, duplicate, and then duplicate again. First one we will call face, second one we will call feet. Feet is easy, simply go to the preview mesh, select the right body type and flats, whatever shoes you have, just apply and then save. And then for the face, right click and then say replace skeleton and choose the face, and then double click and then just apply to asset, and you have the face, the body and the feet. Now to review them, just to see that they all line up correctly, select those three, drag them into your scene, and then start simulating. Now you can see that all three of them are playing correctly and they're lined up. Now to get the face, the body, and the feet into Marvelous Designer, go to your body T-pose, make sure the right body is selected and applied, and then export preview mesh, and I'll say body T-pose, save. Export settings, it's important to have the morph targets and the export preview mesh selected. The rest don't really matter too much, but these are the settings I use. Okay, next, it creates this preview mesh thing. I'm not sure why, but I just delete those. Next, the face. Make sure the face is selected and it's applied. Export preview mesh. Face. Save. Same settings. Export. Okay, close that. Next is the feet. Okay, again, make sure you have it selected and that it's applied, and then export, preview mesh. Same settings, export. Once that's done, okay. Next, to make life a little bit easier in Marvelous Designer, while having these three selected, go to actor and then say convert actor to static mesh. Then choose a file. I'll just put it in my animation static mesh, that's fine. I don't need the materials, so just delete. Okay. Now we have a static mesh of the T-pose. Okay. Just going to delete this, this. And then just click on this static mesh, right click, asset, actions, export, and then just static mesh, or let's call it T-pose. Save. All those settings are fine. Okay, now in Marvelous Designer, go to import FBX, T-pose, and then make sure it's on open and centimeters. In Marvelous Designer, if you go to import FBX and you choose the body, you will see that this error pops up. Fitting suit cannot be created. The avatar must be in a T-pose or A pose. You can carry on without it. It does not matter too much, but it does help with clothing the character in the end to create a fitting suit and everything. So delete that. Just go to import FBX. Now under T-pose, make sure it's on open, avatar, and then this must be on centimeters. There was no error this time bringing in the character, and we have our T-pose that we can clothe on. Because there was no error this time, we have it automatically created a fitting suit for the character. So I'm using this default clothing that comes with Marvelous. It's in general garment, but you can use whatever clothes. So I'm just going to select all of these just to make the fitting a bit faster. I'm going to put the particle distance on 10. And now retarget draping. Boom, as easy as that. So before carrying on, I'm just going to show you if you manually wanted to create a fitting suit, you just simply click on the fitting suit thing. You can see it automatically created this for me. So if I apply, that doesn't look too good, but yeah, we're going to reset this anyways. So to create the fitting suit, simply click on the top one, click on one side, click on the other side, just get it roughly. Lower neck shows you the picture of where to go. So just roughly, waist, this is just very rough, but here is fitting suit. Then you just apply and it creates the skin for you, and then you can just save it. If you want to use it later on, you can just call it your underweight body. You can just call it your body type, save. And then if you ever use this body type with a T-pose and everything again, you can just go to your avatar wherever you saved it, and then you will have it So if you double click, then you can just open it, and then you'll always have this for future projects and so on. It's the same principle. Once you opened your fitted character that has a fitting suit on, you just go to retarget draping. Alright, now that the clothing has been applied to my character, all I do is delete my T-pose FBX that does not have any animation on, and now import FBX body open. Open avatar centimeters, all the animation stuff are on, okay. Now we don't have to worry about the fitted suit because we already have our clothing in the T-pose. Okay, so that lines up perfectly. Now next, for the head and the feet, this time go to import add, and then FBX, and then face, open. Same settings, except this time it's on add, which is good. Import. Again, this error does not matter. And we have the head, body. Now, lastly, import add, FBX, feet. Open, same settings, add. Okay, now we have our entire body in here with the feet, the head, and the body. Now it's time to start simulating. Before we do that, we just want to check the frame rate. Here's the frames per second. Make sure it's on 30 or whatever frames you used. You can also check your animation frames right over here, 30 frames per second. So we're matched up. Clothing, going to leave this at 10 for speed's sake. And then I have simulated the pants before and it does fall off while she's dancing, so I'm just going to tack on avatar. Something like that should do. Okay. Now that I have my MetaHuman clothed and the animation track is in here, we can start simulating. Okay, so go to fitting. You click on one of these, it'll bring up the property editor. Here you can also see time step, that is 30 frames per second. You can play around with the settings here, but fitting accuracy is good. It's the highest quality. And the rest I'm just going to leave as is for now and just simulate. Alright, I'll be back once it's done. Now that we have our animation looking pretty good, so before we carry on, we have to get the UVs right for texturing. So go to UV editor. These have been set up for UDIMs, but I'm not going to use UDIMs right now. I'm going to just get everything into the same block. Okay, yeah, I see that's because of the texturing. Just going to go to 2D pattern, select browser, fabric, hoodie, I'm just going to take off all of the textures because we're going to do some custom textures. Okay, now back to UV map. Make sure none of these patterns overlap each other or go outside of this block. Other than that, you can arrange them however you want inside here. Does not matter. All right, I have just done a rough job. You can probably do better than me and use up more of the spaces and get your patterns a bit bigger. That'll give you a little bit better resolution on your texturing. Anyway, okay, so that's done. Now from here, you want to select everything. You can also do it from here. Select everything. Then you want to make 2 exports. One is going to be export OBJ selected. That will be for when we do texturing. Okay, in the export files, single object, and then I choose thick because that's how I'm going to export my cloth as, and then unified coordinates, and then I'm going to use 4K. Centimeters again still, and then the rest, make sure unified coordinates are UV coordinates are selected. Okay, now with exactly the same thing selected, go to File Export, Alembic, Clothing, Save. Then for the animation, you want Alembic Agawa. I'm also going to choose thick here again, and then 4K, and then you can keep all of this if you want, but we're probably gonna not use them. 30 FPS, that's what we want. Centimeters, tire play region, okay. Before carrying on, I'm quickly going to show you the difference between exporting the cloth as thick and thin in Unreal Engine. So here we have the difference. As you can see, the thin shines through, whereas the thick does not. But you can easily overcome that by just creating a simple material and then going into your material and just choosing two-sided material. And then it will no longer shine through. Just going to apply the same material here. Now the other differences are the actual thickness in the clothing that you made with. Now the other difference is the thickness of the clothing. If you only used Now the other difference is the thickness of the actual clothing. If you look at the hoodie sleeve, you can see this is the difference between the thick and the thin. Here you also have the thin string and then the thick string, and on the edges you'll notice it more between the thick and the thin. You can use either for exporting. It's just up to your preference whether you want the thicker or the thinner, depending on what you have. Once the export is done, we can head back to Unreal Engine. Alright, back in Unreal Engine, we go to our folder, Marvelous, import, and then go to our clothing.abc, that's the Alembic, open. Okay, in Alembic, choose geometry cache, and then you'll have your frames. And then down here for the orientation, choose Autodesk 3ds Max, import. Once it's imported, you save, and then drag and drop the clothing into your scene. Click on your character, just going to get this to the beginning. Click on your character, mine's all on 0. Zero everything out. From 0, everything. Okay, now click on the clothing piece, track, actor, add clothing, and then once the clothing is in, select the track button again, geometry cache, move this to the top, there we go. Since the animation has the T-pose baked in, we don't have to worry about lining it up in Sequencer. Now all you do is play. Here and there you can see there are glitches, but that's just the geometry cache streaming in. It's not actual skin coming through. Like there, you scrub back, it's clean. So if you render this out, there won't be any glitches. Okay, save project. Next step, we're going to Quixel Mixer to texture our clothing. In Quixel Mixer, I'll just go ahead and start a new mix. I'll call it hoodie. Press OK. Then in Setup, under Type, go to Custom Model, and then import the OBJ model we exported from Marvelous Designer that has no animation to it. Once imported, you can go ahead and choose textures, but it'll apply it to the whole thing. So there's no layers or anything, so it can't texture the pants separate from the top, etc., etc. We will need color IDs that we can apply to our model. To do that, we will hop over to Blender. In Blender, we will need a plugin called Text Tools. I will drop a link to this in the description below. But once you're here, scroll down, click on 1.5, download, and then back in Blender, simply go to Preferences, Install, select that file. You don't need to unzip it. Install add-on, then search for the new plugin and enable it. Once enabled, you can just close it, and then we need to import that OBJ that we used in Mixer. Import OBJ. When your import is complete, the first thing you'll need to do is select your model and then remove all existing materials. So just head over to Material Properties and then click on the minus until everything's gone. Once that's done, head over to UV Editing and then select the face mode. Make it a little bit easier. Then you head over to this little arrow here, click on it, and then scroll down to Text Tools. Then once you're in here, go to Color ID and then change the mode from Materials to Vertex Colors. In here, you can select preset colors if you want to. You can also choose your own ones. And you can also choose the amount of colors adding or taking away as needed. I have some good hotkeys to use to make this easier. One is L, one is H. Hovering over a panel and clicking L will select a face, and then clicking H will hide the face. So I go select L, assign a color, and then H to hide what I assigned already. And then I go through the whole motion. I'll select the faces, assign color, and then H to hide them. And I can see my work getting done as I'm going through it. Since I am using the thick export, I have to do double because all of the materials are now basically double the thickness. If you used thin, it will be a lot easier here, but I chose to use thick, so I'm just going to go through this entire motion. Once you are done, you will end up with this wireframe. It does not really matter because it won't change the end result. Now you can press Alt-H to unhide everything, and then head over to baking, click on this icon, and then choose Material ID, and then under size, choose the resolution that you were working at in Marvelous Designer, and then bake. Go to Image, and then Save As, and then rename it to whatever you want. Color ID, and then Save Image. Back in Quixel Mixer, go to Setup, Edit Texture Sets, and then look for Material ID, and import that file that we just exported from Blender. Once that's imported, just close this, go back to Layers, and now if you assign a material, you can click on this Material ID for this layer, and then you can choose any of the colors that you want to have the material on it. To view your Material ID, you can press the 8 key, and then it will give you a preview of your color IDs. And then you can click one and switch back to your editor. Okay, now for a basic cloth texture. Once you're happy with your texture, go to Export. I'm going to just go with Custom. You can also go through the library, which goes through Quixel Mixer, but I'm just going to go Custom, choose my folder. You don't have to export the model, and then just choose your texture size and export to disk. Back in Unreal Engine, go to a folder, create a material, and then in here also import that material that you exported from Mixer. Once that's done, open your new material, bring in all of these, and assign them to the right places. This is roughness, albedo, displacement, which I'm not going to use, normal, metalness, and ambient occlusion. Once that's done, save, go out, drag and drop your material, or you can assign it through the material slot here. And then you have your materials assigned. You can now go around and edit your material to get it exactly how you want it. And there you have it. Clothes fully textured and fully synced up. If you have any questions, feel free to join my Discord. I am a lot more active on there than YouTube, but you can also comment below.